determined our event location, we've determined our event staff. Now we need to figure out what we're going to do and what the schedule would be. And again, the type of event that you're having is going to drive the types of activities that you have, which will then drive the schedule that you have. I would say, just in general, for setup and tear down, it will take longer than you think. It just will. Somebody will be late. You'll no matter how much you plan, you'll realize at the last minute, like, oh, somebody was bringing the rope for the Eric and they're not here, and we're supposed to have a tournament. Something will happen.
You'll have 8 people volunteer to set up,
yes.
and then 5 of them actually show up.
Or none. In some cases you have none show up. So just make sure that you're blocking out time to set up and tear down, and then add to that amount. Because it won't be too much time. I can almost promise you. You'll want to establish site opening and closing times, which obviously the opening time is going to be scheduled after you have scheduled your setup time. The closing time for the event site will be prior to, should butt up against the amount of time that you set to tear down. If your group is small, like ours is, you will be, the people that are helping with the tear down will then leave when you're done. So you can sort of make it the same thing. If your group is larger, you'll adjust accordingly for that. So the activities that you have, again, are going to drive the schedule. You will need to check with the seneschal of your group. If it is a baronial level group, you'll need to be checking with the baron and baroness. Is there going to be court? That's going to factor into your schedule, and how long court takes is not going to be up to you as the autocrat. How long court takes is going to be up to the people holding the court. They will know the kind of court business that they need to conduct, and they will let you know. Ask and they will tell you. If you are not holding court as part of your event, it is good as autocrat to take at least a moment or two to be sure to thank the crew that helped set up, the crew that's going to help tear down, and just general thank yous to the people that have helped out. If you as autocrat have done little special thank you tokens or thank you scrolls or whatever, just make time in the schedule to do a nice presentation of that. It's not something that you kind of want to throw at people at the end of the event, like, thanks for helping out. They've done something special for the group. You want to make sure that they know that their efforts are appreciated. If you're running a tournament, and for the purposes of this class we said we were, so you want to make sure that you schedule time for people to sign up for the list, and then plenty of time to armor up. I don't know about other groups, but it's like long and luxurious is the amount of time that we take to armor up here. I think it's fair to say.
Speaking for our local group, it does seem like it takes as long for our fighters just to armor up as it does to actually hold the actual tournament itself, yes. the actual fighting.
Yes, it's fairly amazing. But if you know that about your group, then just plan it. What you don't want to do is if you know from experience that it takes an hour for your group of fighters to armor up, don't give them half an hour on the schedule. Don't, because it's not going to suddenly, they're not going to suddenly be able to do it in half an hour, and you're going to be mad because they're messing up your schedule. Well, no, really, if you're scheduling accordingly, you know it takes your fighters an hour, so just block it out. They've got an hour to armor up, and then nobody's frustrated with each other, and that's, the point is to enjoy the event, not to get mad at each other. So build those things into your schedule. If you're having A&S competitions or you're having A&S classes, again, you'll want to be getting with your Minister of Arts and Sciences, and they, to a certain extent, will be driving the schedule. They'll let you know how long they think it'll take for judging. If it's classes, then you would work closely with them to determine how long each class should take. how much time to give the instructors to set up and tear down. Are you having overlapping class schedules? Are things running concurrently? Are you doing a round robin? There's a myriad of ways that you can set up classes, but again, you will want to be working collaboratively with the other people that are part of the event just to make sure that the schedule will work for everybody. If you're having a feast, again, it can run any number of ways, but if you are at a location where you can only get in and set up at a certain time, and you know you've got to be out by a certain time, which means you then have to start backing up from when you have to leave the feast hall, so build in the time to clean up and tear down and all that stuff. And if you have court, then you build that in and you back it up from closing, I think is the safer way to schedule feast. The way that we ran 12th night this past time was sort of vaguely on a schedule. We actually started with a very rigid schedule that within like the first 20 minutes of feast went right out the window. We'll touch on this later, but being flexible, being calm, and just embracing the chaos to a certain extent, I think is important. It's important for your sanity as an autocrat, and it's important to not make the event miserable for other people because, oh my God, we're 20 minutes off schedule or whatever. But if you're having kind of a buffet style feast, the timeline for that would be different than if you had set courses and you had servers coming in and that sort of thing. So individual scheduling for events can, even if you're just talking feast, they can vary really widely depending on how you're going to run your feast. Okay, so that's all the things to think about initially when you're planning the event, and then we go into pre-event stuff.